Hello everyone, we have more signing and trade updates. We saw two very interesting signings earlier today as the Flames signed one of their RFA defensemen and the Caps a recent trade acquisition. And we saw two interesting moves as the Senators upgrade their blue line and the Red Wings their goaltending. We'll get to all these updates from our past couple of days coming up right now. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video here at the End-to-End Hockey channel. Now before we get started, don't forget to like this video and subscribe below. Thank you for all of your support. I would never be able to do this without all of you guys. So if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe button down below. Don't forget to leave a comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Don't forget to stay tuned for Tuesday's live stream at 9:30 a.m. Mountain Time talking about free agency. It's going to be a very interesting stream there. But in today's video, we've got another very interesting video talking about two interesting signings and two very interesting trades that happened from our past couple of days. Actually just happened earlier today, so we'll touch on both these things here. So first, the Washington Capitals have signed a recent trade acquisition after trading a second and sixth round pick to get him. The Washington Capitals have extended RFA forward Justin Sourdif, who's a right winger slash center, 23 years old. He's been mostly an AHL player throughout his entire career, which is why giving up a second and a sixth round pick made really weird sense to trade for Sourdif. The Capitals do wind up signing him to a 2-year contract extension with the AAV of $825,000. So it's a pretty good pickup here for the Caps. Not too expensive. Sourdif this past year, playing in his fourth career NHL game, he got his first career NHL goal, but only got into one NHL game. This past year also had 16 goals and 34 points in 43 AHL games after he had 12 goals and 38 points in 58 AHL games the year prior. So I think Sourdif is starting to come into his own. I think eventually his peak will be being like a bottom six forward. So once again, I think the trade still baffles me as why they had to give up a second and a sixth to get him. But I think 2 years, $825,000 for an AHL player who could be a call-up option and maybe eventually a bottom six forward isn't overly bad there for the Caps. So a very interesting signing here as the Caps do sign Sourdif to a very interesting contract. And the other signing we saw was over in Calgary as they signed one of their RFA players, and that is Kevin Bahl. Bahl, who was acquired last offseason in the Jacob Markstrom deal, had a really solid season with the Calgary Flames, and they paid him for a long-term deal. He gets a 6-year contract extension with an AAV of $5.35 million. Now, I think that's a little bit of an overpayment. In my opinion, I think Bahl's best opportunity would be like a 4 or 5 defenseman, so I think he can play second pair minutes. I think he's more suited to play third pair minutes, so I definitely think giving him $5.35 million on the AAV is a little bit too much. He just had a career-high 3 goals and 20 points in 73 games this past year with Calgary, which was very interesting out there. He got a little more of ice time and he was able to get a little more point totals, which was very good. But on top of that, I don't think he's a second pair defenseman. I think he's more of a third pair guy, and you don't pay third pair guys $5.35 million. So either they're overpaying for a third pair defenseman or they're putting Bahl in a position where I don't think he's going to succeed. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Bahl can be a solid second pair defenseman. Maybe paying him $5.35 million is a smart move. You guys let me know down in the comments. But I just think it's a little bit of an overpayment there for the Flames. So very interesting note there. But the Flames and RFA Kevin Bahl have come to terms on an extension. And then we saw two very interesting trades. The first one involved the Ottawa Senators and the Los Angeles Kings. Remember, I'm not mentioning any of the pick-for-pick swaps. I'm not going to do that. There's a lot of pick-for-pick swaps earlier today. But we are mentioning any that involve players. So the first one was between Ottawa and Los Angeles. The trade is as follows. The Ottawa Senators acquired Jordan Spence from the LA Kings for a 2025 third round pick, which they used earlier, and a 2026 sixth round pick, which is the Avalanches. A very confusing move from Los Angeles' side. They moved Spence, who was starting to come into his own as a solid second or third pair right shot defenseman. They move him. They only get a third and sixth round pick back. I was thinking a lot of people expecting like a first round pick or maybe like a second round pick and something else back for Spence. Only getting a third and sixth round pick is a very big of a letdown return for the Los Angeles Kings. So I'm a little bit surprised as to why Kings pulled the trigger on this deal. I definitely do think they're the losers advantages of this deal. But for Ottawa, I mean, you do this all day. You move a 3rd round pick, which you guys just an added addition a day earlier for trading down the draft. You move a 3rd round pick, a 6th round pick at future year's draft, and you get Jordan Spence. That's a really good pickup here. He's in the final year of his deal. He's got a $1.5 million AAV. He'll be an RFA next year. Spence this past year played his 2nd full season at the NHL level, had a career high 4 goals and a career high 28 points in 79 games. And I don't think he's reached his potential yet. He's got lots of really good defensive aspects to his game, but I think he can be a solid 35 to 40 point defenseman at his peak. So I definitely do think that this is a really solid pickup here from Ottawa long term. I think he could be their 2nd pair right shot defenseman, and I do think long term this is going to be a great steal of a deal here for the Ottawa Senators. I'm really confused about what happened with Los Angeles and why they would agree to this, but for Ottawa's side, like, this is a completely bona fide great move there from Ottawa. So very interesting note there, but the Senators maybe have acquired their future 2nd pair right shot defenseman and Jordan Spence in exchange for a 3rd and 6th round pick. So very interesting note there. And then we saw a blockbuster deal of big proportions involving one of the players on my end-to-end hockey trade bait list. The trade is as follows. The Detroit Red Wings acquired John Gibson, his full cap hit, from the Anaheim Ducks for Petr Mrazek and a 2027 2nd and 2026 4th round pick. A very, very intriguing deal between the Ducks and the Red Wings. So we'll start with this from the Red Wings side. The Red Wings need to start going for it, so they need to start making some bold moves. So moving a 2nd round pick 2 years down the road and a 4th round pick next year, that's not overly bad, and they need to give up a goalie to get a goalie, so it made sense to move Mrazek. They get John Gibson. Gibson was the guy who was mentioned in the trade rumors for the last 2 seasons. He wanted a fresh start. He wanted to go to a place where he could win. I'm not sure if the Red Wings are that sort of place, but he's going to be the starter there. He's 31 years old. He's got 2 years left on his contract at a $6.4 million AAV. A really solid player here. Last year had a really solid resurgence. Like the past 3 seasons before last year, he didn't have a save percentage of above 905 and didn't have any GAA better than 3, so it wasn't overly great. But last year, he only played 29 games, so he was a little bit injured, and that is a big problem there for Gibson. But he had a 2.77 GAA and 912 save percentage, which was actually one of the better goalies in the NHL last year. So I think if he can stay healthy and there's a better blue line behind him than it was in Anaheim, I do think that Gibson can be a very solid top-end goaltender for the Red Wings. And they needed a clear-cut starter. Like, they had Talbot, Mrazek, like over the past couple of years, they've just been going through goalie after goalie after goalie looking for a starter. And I definitely believe that Gibson's going to be that starter. I think it's a little bit of an underwhelming return when we look at the Ducks side. They move off of one of their best goaltenders in recent memory in John Gibson. They get Petr Mrazek, a 2nd and a 4th rounder. The 2nd rounder's in 2 years' time. Not sure where Detroit will be at that. The 4th rounder's next year. Not sure where Detroit will be at that. Those could be trade fodder picks there for the Anaheim Ducks if they really want to try and get better. Mrazek's a really good pickup here. He's in the final year of his deal. $4.25 million AAV. He's 33 years old. The past couple of years has actually been doing a lot better. He had 2.49 GAA and 902 save percentage in 5 games with Detroit this year, after having a 3.46 GAA and 890 save percentage in 33 games with Chicago, after he had a solid 305 GAA and 908 save percentage in his first season in Chicago in 56 games just a little while ago. So I think it could be a really solid addition here for the Anaheim Ducks. I don't think Mrazek's a starter at this point anymore, but I think it can be a solid, like a 1B backup to Dostal. He knows what it takes to play at the NHL level. He can mentor Dostal and turn him into the best goaltender Dostal can be. And I think for 1 year as their backup, even though it's a little bit more of an expensive contract, I think it's going to be a really good pickup here for the Anaheim Ducks. So very interesting note there. But a blockbuster deal sees Detroit get their starting goaltender that they desperately needed, and in exchange, the Ducks get a 2nd round pick, a 4th round pick, and a backup for Dostal. So definitely a very interesting trade here between the Ducks and the Red Wings. But that is all I'm going to Ottawa for today. I'll let you guys thoughts. At this point in time, I think Ottawa wins the Spence deal, and I think Detroit wins the Gibson deal. But I'll let you guys thoughts. Who do you think won those 2 deals? And what did you think of the Bahl and Sourdif signings? Definitely very thoughts on all of that down in the comment section below. That's all I'm going to Ottawa for today. Remember to like this video, and if you like to, remember to subscribe below. Thank you for all of your support. I would never be able to do this with all of you guys. So if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe button down below. Don't forget to comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Don't forget to stay tuned for Tuesday's live stream at 9:30 a.m. Mountain Time, talking about free agency. I also do a blog talking about news, rumors, analysis, stuff like that, so check that out. I've linked that down in the description below. Cannot wait to see you guys all for the next video. See you guys soon.